Seth McKinney is here. Steve will be on his way here momentarily.
He's getting some burnout sets and golds right now, I think.
Steven.
I love that about him. Hey, have you tried the TexAgs coffee, Billy?
Yeah. Well, I mean, perfect timing as I'm drinking non-TexAgs coffee. I didn't know we had it.
We have it here. Yeah.
It'd probably be better.
I'll take some TexAgs coffee.
I would too. I would love a cup of TexAgs coffee.
Throw that junk away.
By the way, we've been giving some out here.
We had it here today.
TexAgs.com/coffee if you want some TexAgs coffee. Seth, where are you? We didn't talk last week. Where are you with this team right now heading into this game against South Carolina?
I'm at the fact that I think that we are a good team. I think that you saw us go out against Alabama and you saw us go out against Tennessee. And we had no business losing those games, in my opinion. I know I got my maroon glasses on, but it doesn't matter. We had no business losing those games. We didn't take advantage of the opportunities given to us. And yes, our O-line is an issue, but I think that's something that you can fix. So I think that we are a good team, and I have faith in our ability to go out there and perform the way that I know that these guys can perform. I mean, it doesn't take a whole lot is what I'm trying to say. It's a few easy fixes, and we can be the team that we all think that we can be. And I know that people probably think that I'm crazy, but I'm telling you, we're still a very talented team, and we were close against. I know that I don't like it. I'm not happy about it. Trust me, I'm not. I'm just saying that the facts of the matter are we are a good team. And if we'd have put a couple plays together against Alabama and a couple plays together against Tennessee, this would be a completely different story. I don't like it. It is what it is. We got to deal with it. But I still believe that we can go out and dominate. And I have no doubt that we can go out and dominate against a team like South Carolina. And we should. It should not be a close game. I know people might sit here and say differently, but I don't think it should be a close game. I think and Steve will get in here. We've been talking about it in the background, but going up against Ole Miss is going to determine so much in 2 weeks. And yes, I am saying South Carolina is a foregone conclusion, because you know what? If it's not, we got other issues.
So as Steve McKinney sits down,
can I ask Steve and Seth something that Seth just said? The offensive line has been a weak spot. Blocking in general has been a weak point of this team for a couple years now. But what I want to ask is, even in the last two games, and I'm frustrated. What frustrates me more than anything, guys, and is the inability to pick up. Olin wrote an article about it. He said 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. And I'd go even further and say it's the 3rd and 1s that kill me, because they set up all these 4th down decisions that everyone's bandying about and like saying, was it the right decision, the wrong decision? Like, they all were born out of not converting on 3rd down and short, other than Miami, where it was a couple passes to Evan.
Yeah.
But you still had 4th and 1. You false started 3rd and 1. Amari Daniels gets stuffed for a loss and fumbles. Key moments of every loss have come down to these short yardage plays, again against Tennessee last week. But in general, I don't feel like they've been terrible on the offensive line against. I think they were okay. I think we sat here and talked about it against Auburn, against Arkansas, and for the first half against Tennessee and Bama, and then they were awful, god awful in the second half. My question is, I feel weird. Are we too quick to be writing off this O-line as even being able to play competent football, or the defenses they're playing moving forward? South Carolina, LSU, Mississippi State, and Ole Miss. Ole Miss is actually quietly, low key, not bad at all, but up front, they just played the two best, and they just got their butts kicked, over a 60-minute game. Is this a case where they could actually be, I'm not going to say anything special, but could they be okay? Could they be adequate enough?
Let me say two things. First of all, one, I do agree with you that I don't think the offensive line played terrible early in the year. I think the last couple of games they've ran into a couple of things. One, fundamentally, they're not blocking well in the middle.
Yeah.
Period.
Yes.
And we got to get the snaps up.
Oh,
we got to get the snaps up. Okay. But we're not fundamentally blocking guys, keeping guys on the line of scrimmage in the middle. And that's a problem, especially in the run game. And two, I don't think our offensive play calling is helping the offensive line at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's very predictable, very little play action, way too much just straight drop back for the defensive lines that we're going against.
Yeah.
You got to be more creative.
Right.
You got, when your offensive line's struggling, especially against really good defenses, you got to help them out. You got to keep the defense on their heels. You can't just go, hey, it's 3rd and 8. Let's just do a straight drop back every time.
Yeah, there's got to be some level of those guys having to think.
Yeah, and they're not.
Because Lord knows that your blockers are having to think.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, right? You guys,
you are.
as O-linemen, you've got to, I'm blocking him. This guy's moved. Here's the safety. Here's the mic.
Right.
You know, you're doing all that. And if the other side's not, if they're just pinning ears back, you're right. It puts you at a big disadvantage.
You know, like we're running plays where it's like we got the 1995 Cowboys out there. We're expected to, you know, make the ground, make the inch. You know what I mean? And you've got to do just like Steve said. And the snap issue, it messes up so much. And it's like we might sit here and just, I mean, I know a lot of people are talking and for rightly so, because it messes up so much timing. It messes up timing in the passing game. It messes up timing in the running game. And I'm not trying to belittle anybody. It is easy to do. All right. Like if you're a center, that's your job. You're expected to do that. Do it. I mean, seriously, it is not that hard. That's what you do every day. You go out and practice. You get 15, 20 shotgun snaps or whatever it is every practice. And it's like rote memorization. You
20,
just do it.
what are you talking about?
I don't know. I'm talking about before practice.
That's
Yeah.
like,
This is all before.
They're getting like 100.
Yeah. Trust me. I mean, you know what I'm getting at. But that's like an issue that should not exist, period. Plain and simple. And then as far as the short yardage goes, I know we're out of the shotgun. But forgive me, you're never going to convince me that a quarterback sneak on 3rd and 1 is not the right call, period. And it always is in my book. Like, dial it up. It works. And if you don't get it, that's your fault.
You obviously hadn't been watching the movement we get inside on 3rd and 1 to think that a quarterback sneak's going to work every time.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I do think that's a great.
It's a given. 3rd and 1, 3rd and short. Boom. I mean, don't even huddle. Just get on the ball.
If you sneak into it quick, catch people off guard. If they're expecting a quarterback sneak, it's a problem.
You're going to have some guys blown up.
It's a problem.
I think you bring up a great point. It's the frustration and the reality. I keep saying, like, trying to score right before the half and ask that O-line and Max and kind of the inconsistency we've seen in the passing game to say, hey, let's get this ball back at our own 10 we can call timeout and we'll have
let's go
minute.
Score.
I understand if you have to score.
We did.
South Carolina did that at Tennessee. But when you've got a lead, particularly on the road, and you're getting the ball, I know the mentality is, and we all want to sit here and say it, attack, go for the kill, put your foot on their throat, the jugular. But the reality,
we're not good enough to do that.
You have to know what your team, if you had Wigman, but if you had Jaden Daniels and Malik Neighbors, or you had, Bryce Young or Mac Jones and those 4 Bama receivers from a couple years ago, or Burrow, I get it, but you got to know what you have. But my problem is not in the decision. It's the fact that, damn, I wish A&M had an offense that
I thought
you were more confident in doing that.
Going into the season, I thought we had that offense, but no, I mean, you're right. You can't question that.
You also thought you had Connor.
You can question it, but I'm just telling you, I'm with you on that. Like at both of those times, I'm going, yeah, dude, let's take the lead in a half. Yeah. Let's not do something stupid here.
Yeah,
because we're very capable of doing that.
And look at you don't go for it on 4th and 1 against Bama. Yeah. You punt it, hoping to pin them deep, and it backfires.
I didn't love that.
But did you love it when they went for it and they tripped over their own feet? Almost the same.
Yes, I love that.
Did you love it when Tennessee did pretty much the exact same thing the Aggies did, but they punted it down to the 1 yard line? Mm-hmm. I mean, Jimbo always says, and it's become like, it's a thing everybody's joking about now, is execute. And it's true, but it falls on not just players, but coaches as well.
Yeah.
The execution part, because you practice to teach them to execute and I know you rep it and drill it and rep it and drill it, but if it's not translating on the field, then maybe rep it and drill it differently.
That's the
hardest.
You
put different players out there.
That's the hardest thing about being a great offense and about having those. I've been on teams where it's like one person every time, every play. It seemed like every single play, one person messed up and it made a huge difference. that's the beauty of being on defense. Is like you could go out there and have 10 mental errors, and you got Myles Garrett over there, and he sacks a quarterback. Y'all are the wrecking crew, greatest defense of all time.
They weren't the wrecking crew with Myles.
Well, I know. You know what I'm getting at.
I sometimes like to say that because I see the social media people, and I'm like, yeah, you guys had Myles, and this defense is actually pretty damn good. Now, I would love if they had Myles or Vaughn, but
how about a little bit? I know y'all talked about him a little bit, but I had no idea he was having the level. I knew he was successful and I knew he was dominating, but to be mentioned like that with the great Reggie White in the same sentence like that is just unreal, man.
Imagine how good Myles Garrett would be on Tecmo Bowl.
Oh my goodness, dude.
You'd have to ban that team.
Yeah.
Well, what if he was on the Eagles? What if he was on the Eagles? You had him and Randall coming in.
QB Eagles, yeah.
Raiders.
You couldn't. Yeah, it's like Bo Jackson. You'd have to ban them because the Browns with no other players. You'd have to ban them,
right?
Because he would just have a sack on every play on Tecmo.
Was it Walter Payton that was unstoppable and Bo Jackson? They both were, right?
Yeah, they were pretty tough to stop.
Yeah,
guys, we've talked about
Lawrence Taylor.
The line being an issue, but Max has got to get rid of the ball quicker too.
Yep.
It seems like, it just feels to me like he's holding on to it a little bit too long, but it's not even just that. It also feels like the play calls are like so slow developing.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, and I remember back in 2002 with the Texans, it seemed like every pass play we called was like a 15-yard option route. Where the quarterback
trying to do to us,
reading the freaking safety, and I'm going, we shouldn't be calling these type of plays right now. And that's what it feels like with this offense at times, especially when your offensive line's giving up pressure and you're struggling. Don't make it so long developing on the deep balls.
Yeah.
We gotta mix in some quick game. You got to mix in play action, and then the stuff will open up downfield. You'll have shots at it.
It's frustrating because there are so many things you can do to protect an offensive line that is not doing a great job. So many things.
Legs, three-step drops.
Play action. So many things, and it's just not getting done for whatever reason.
You know what's one thing I don't think. And by the way, I thought they made an amazing call. They ran a screen, and Le'Veon Moss dropped it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
That could have been a big chunk
that was
play.
A certain first down.
They ran. No, you're thinking of the little where Le'Veon leaked out and Max had him wide open, and that all you had was a safety coming from about 25 yards away. If he made that guy miss, it might have been a house call on it. All the other DBs, their backs were and he underthrew that one. He short-armed it. But I'm talking about in the fourth quarter, one of those drives, maybe your last one, you were starting it and you ran a screen and it was a perfect throw and Le'Veon just dropped it. So one play, your quarterback makes the bad throw to him. The other play drops it. Those are what you're talking about. They're easy plays to, I hate the word, here we go, execute.
Yeah.
But
it's true though, Billy. When you're a player, you truthfully sit in the film room and see those things on film and you own those mistakes. None of those players are sitting around in their apartments trash talking the coaches, blaming the coaches on these losses. Like they know that they didn't execute. And Jimbo can sit there and say that and people can make fun of him, but that's the reality is that they got to execute. Now, is it his job and responsibility to get them to start executing? Yeah. That's where his responsibility comes in.
One thing would be things like the snaps.
Right.
If we see bad snaps Saturday from Bryce, then I would actually shift that blame from the center to the coach.
Well, hold on a second.
And Adazio and Jimbo and say, why is he even out there?
You can shift that blame today. Because that wasn't his first game that.
That's true. That's true.
And it is possible to get that right.
And you were kind of playing with fire, knowing that happens a lot. And then this was the game where it really got you.
And they're also stepping on this. The stepping on stuff happens, but it should not happen as frequently as it does to us.
Why is that
issue.
happening?
Well, spacing, man. there are certain plays like when you're. I know Steve knows.
It's not spacing, Seth. It's bad footwork.
Bad footwork, and couple that with not taking the right splits. When they're you would install a play like on this play, you got 3-foot splits. On this play, you can go down to 2.5-foot splits. There are things that you can do to correct that because coaches, like good coaches, not just good coaches know that it takes certain steps to do this. And when you take those certain steps, you need this amount of spacing to get it done.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Billy, let me tell you something. Against Alabama, your little, sack there in the fourth quarter where everybody's falling on their back.
Which one? The safety?
No, the one before the safety.
Yeah,
that one looked terrible, right?
Yeah.
So in no world does an offensive line coach teach a left guard to step with his right foot to block a 3 technique.
Never. That was his fault. Like, I'm telling you, that was a mental
error.
It
automatically, you're off balance.
Yes. And in no world does an offensive line coach teach a center to snap and step underneath himself to go to either side, to go to the left. And when you do that, you're going to step on the quarterback's foot.
Mm-hmm.
You got to open your hips and gain ground. You can't step underneath yourself. That's where the quarterback's foot is.
And admittedly, it's a very tough thing to
hard.
do. That's probably one of I agree. I'm not making excuses. I'm saying that's one of the hardest things as a center that you have to do is to snap and reach block a one technique. There's not much harder that you have to do is in the running game than reach that guy. And it's a hard step to execute and get done. But you know what? There's no excuses. You got to get it done. It's getting done by everyone else out there. So.
Okay, so I was wondering if you're saying is that asking too much?
No, absolutely not. That's just a basic block that you have to make. Now, is it easy? No, not at all.
Yeah.
It's very hard. One of the hardest that you got to make as a center.
All right, let's hit a break.
Well, real quick, one thing about the quick game I wanted to say.
Yeah.
I do think one thing that's not talked about, I think if you go back and watch the Alabama game, they hit a couple quickies to Evan Stewart behind the line of scrimmage with some blocking, and he went and chewed up yards. Tennessee did that to A&M a lot.
Yeah.
He went and chewed up 7, 8, 9 yards. That's an RPO. And everybody thinks, well, why didn't you do more of that? You go watch that game, and you got to watch the whole film, and you see how many times the ball's handed off or the quarterback keeps it, where that throw is there. And against Bama, I think they should have continued to go to that, because what it does, and the reason it's there, guys, is it's easy yards when you need them. But over the course of a game, all this stuff you're talking about with, the linemen, it spaces these guys out, and it keeps people on their heels because they don't know, is he throwing it? Is he giving it? If you give it too much, everybody starts to box in. They don't respect it. You're also not taking an easy yard. It's the quick throw, get it out of your hand. It's to get momentum, get confidence.
Yeah.
I do think, Max needs to make that throw more often. I don't know if was a little gun shy after what happened against Arkansas, but that's there some. And the reason that is there is for everything you just talked about.
Yeah.
I was a little worried after the, Alabama game. We had a lot of folks here for a while. And then they lost a couple games. I was a little worried. People were coming. People were excited. You guys think they're going to win this weekend? One guy answered.
Oh, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bill. Appreciate you.
They better win.
Yeah.
I already said that.
They don't win this one.
No doubt.
I think they got to win convincingly, guys. Like, I want to see some style points. I want to see some offense. And this is a game that they should be able to do that. This is Arkansas level. This is Auburn level.
No, what I want to see is just some clean offensive line play. Honestly.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing for this week for sure.
Run the football. I don't want to see a lot of pressure on the quarterback. Any pressure better be a freaking 8-man blitz. We better not be getting pressure with no 4-man rushes. That's what I don't.
They got to get that fixed up front. It's a glaring issue.
They're gonna have the guy they got to watch out for is there's not many up there. South Carolina's, they remind me, like I said, they're on a level of like an Arkansas. I don't even think they have the defensive front talent that Auburn did, but
yeah, they're pretty good.
EJ Sanders is a stud. He's their guy.
Yep.
He's got like 8 tackles for loss, 4.5 sacks. That
could be a tough matchup.
Yeah, and if you get him on the wrong, it
could happen. But keep them off balance.
I want to
run the football, keep them off balance.
Yeah,
should be fine.
And look, South Carolina had a first or second round pass rusher a few years ago. His name was Prince or King, and he was quiet. He had like a fourth quarter sack. He was a first, second rounder, and A&M just demolished. It was 2 years ago here.
Yeah.
A&M just demolished them, and they kept him quiet with play calling and with physicality.
And you could see that. I could see that happening Saturday as well. I'm expecting it. You've had 2 weeks to prepare. You have to be, just as a player, sick of the last 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
You got to be ready to just come out and just play the best game of your life.
Tell you what, I want to see a bounce back from. I'd like to see Chase Besantis show what he's got mentally. I interviewed him this week.
Mm-hmm.
This is a true freshman. And I talked to him before we went on. I said, man, I remember Luke Jokel getting absolutely cooked by a little 230-pound edge rusher from Florida International.
Yeah.
And then a week later, a first-team All-Big 12 DN, Hugo Chinasa, up in Oklahoma State, just ate him up. And that was like game 3 or 4 of his his true freshman year.
Yeah.
By mid-season and beyond, and all the way until he got injured, in his NFL career, he was as good a tackle as you could, whatever level you can attain and ascend to in college football. He was there by the end of his freshman year. I'm not saying Chase is Luke. My point is Jake Matthews didn't start till about game 7 of his true freshman year. Luke, that same year, took it on the chin his first few starts. Chase doesn't, he's really talented, but Luke and Jake are like generational,
right?
Athletically gifted.
2nd pick, 7th pick.
Yeah.
Still playing.
Jake's going to be he'd probably be a Falcons Ring of Honor guy when it's all said and done.
Right.
But Chase is really good. He's had a rough couple weeks going against veteran SEC D linemen.
Good competitions.
I'd like to see him bounce back.
Playing from behind.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of 3rd and longs. One on the road.
Tough ask.
That is a tough ask.
You know who's got a lot of tough asks last year and had it really rough was Trey Zune.
Yeah.
We don't talk about him. I feel like he's one of your more improved players.
Yeah, well, that's the beauty about being an offensive lineman. You don't want people to talk about you that much, and you know what? That just tells you that he's doing his job this year. And I've been very impressed with the way that he's played for sure.
Yeah, no, he's for sure a solid player. Just very consistent, and that's what you want to see as an offensive lineman. Like you don't need a guy that's dominant 2 or 3 plays a game and screws up 2 or 3 plays a game.
Yeah,
you want a guy that's just consistent, blocks his guy, covers him up, doesn't get penalties, doesn't jump off sides. That's what you're looking for, and all 5 of your guys, frankly.
Yeah, for sure.
But Zune, I would definitely put in that category as like much improved. Now, he had a lot of injuries he was playing through last year. I assume he's healthy this year.
Yeah.
And that's making a big difference as well. But yeah, kudos to him for, fighting through all that and playing good this year.
Speaking of consistent, how important will it be to get Edger and Cooper back out there this weekend?
Yes.
And I don't think Chris Russell played bad at all when he had to come in for Edge in Knoxville, but Cooper was having a hell of a first half. He was all over the place again. He gets it looked like he got his bell rung, looked like a concussion.
Is that what
that's what it looked like to me? And and maybe had they played last weekend, maybe he wouldn't have been ready, but he should be ready to go. Walter Nolan should be ready to go.
That was kind of shocking.
Bryce Anderson should be back.
The way Walt went off, I was like, man, this is.
I thought it was career ending. The way he was crying on the freaking cart. I'm like, dude, this guy's done, man.
Yeah, I don't know if it was a pinched nerve. I don't know specifically what that was.
He looked scared. It didn't look like he was in pain. He just he was scared and upset that he thought his season was done.
Yep. Yeah, I mean that's why that emotion came. He thought it was over. He thought it was done.
So that was pretty shocking, but obviously great news.
Yeah. But man, I think this could be an Edger and Cooper type game. Like this is one of those where you go, can he get to Spencer Rattler? Can he get 3 sacks? Can he get an interception maybe? Like I just feel like this is a game where 45 might be all over the field.
Yeah, man. I've been impressed with him since his freshman year when he was out there, and he's only gotten better and steadily better and better. And this year he's coming into his own. Do what?
He can come back.
Oh, hey, bring it on.
Like you want to really?
He's playing so good though. I mean, it's tough.
No one's got him in a mock first round, and I don't know that he's.
But can he?
I don't know that people have talked to me about him being a second rounder.
Mm-hmm.
This is where you've got in 2023. You've got to hopefully, and if you haven't, then it's on the people in Bright. You got to get so far out in front of that. Say you're coming back and you're going to make a ton of money. Yeah. And oh, by the way, we're going to NIL you for a bunch of money too, because matters. You're going to be a 4th round pick.
Well, NIL
you that much.
Right, yeah.
And whatever your money is, whatever he made in NIL going into this season, that should make a massive jump this year, because you would essentially be saying, we're going to pay, because let's call it what it is. We're going to take X amount of our salary cap to bring back the most proven of commodities on our football team. not a recruit, not a freshman that hasn't played much but is very talented.
Thank you, bud.
But the most proven commodity in our locker room that we can bring back is number 45. It's number 5, Shamar Turner.
Yeah.
Those are guys that
Now, can I be the agent?
yes.
Why would you come back? Even if you're going to be a 4th round pick.
Yeah.
Okay. Why would you come back, risk injury just for 1 year of NIL money?
Well,
You're going to get that same money in the NFL, and you're going to have a 3-year contract. When that 3 years is up, you can go sign for all the money in the world.
okay.
So why start that timer a year later
Stop
and risk
it.
injury?
Stop.
I'm just saying that's what the agents are telling me.
Okay. So why did you come back?
Because I would have probably been like a 7th round pick
What'd you have?
or undrafted.
I don't know that he's going to be a 4th. What's your cutoff? Is it 5th?
I think
Is it-
fourth.
is
I
it
think
Jay-
4th
is it
is
Jalen?
cutoff.
4th is your cutoff.
I think you have to be at least a 4th.
What
round pick.
if Von Miller or Jake Matthews or Cedric Ablehi, what they did?
That's if you have the talent. If you feel you're underdeveloped
Yeah.
physically, technically,
Yeah.
then that's when coming back.
I think
I don't know on
I
that.
think he might fall into that category
I
because
think-
I think he came in absolutely raw out of Louisiana. He was a late bloomer. I think he was either committed to or it was between A&M and Utah.
Oh.
Then like OU and some other schools picked up on him. But I thought he came in extremely raw. He flashed as a freshman. I think this is his first year that he's been playing at an all SEC level.
Yeah.
I think if he came back, I think he's a guy that could go from 4th round to 2nd round or 3rd round to first, to first round. I think he would be a 1st round linebacker.
if that's the case, if you can make that argument legitimately, then that is a good argument because that's real money difference there.
Yeah.
I think A-Chain should have absolutely come out. I think who's another guy recently that came out and was like
DeMarvin, could he have stayed another year?
I think Jay Sternberger should have stayed. I think Tyrell Dodson should have stayed. I think
Michael Clemens came out right.
I think Spiller came out at the right time.
Yeah.
Clemens was done.
Was he done with?
I think Isaiah Spiller came out at the right time. I think could Leal have helped himself? Maybe so.
He dropped a little bit. Yeah.
I think Matt Abike came out at the right time. So that's one I point out because like Chappelle, Cooper, Turner, Walter Nolan, which is not an NFL thing, but everybody's going to be trying to get him to transfer. Like you have to pick in 2023 who you're going to keep and who you're going to, like Bryce Anderson, you need him. Like you keep that core nucleus of those guys, and this could be it could be like a
do you think
top defense in the country type
do you
conversation.
think that we have the ability in the building over there to navigate those waters and to pick out the people that we need?
I hope so.
We don't even have a recruiting coordinator.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that wouldn't fall into that, but I think that is an issue in my opinion. But I think player personnel wise, I don't know the answer, which concerns me, but that is of the utmost importance now is roster construction, retention, addition. Like say David Nuno wants, let's say he's a starting, pick a position.
Tight end.
You're a starting tight end and you're an all conference.
You look like a tight end.
Thank you.
And you're well, not all conference. Let's say you're a good tight end. You're going to play in the NFL. You want $600,000.
Oh yeah, just get
And
the math.
for I can go for 200. I can go get an all conference tight end I go get the guy a couple years ago from Utah for 200,000 that is as good or better.
It's better money spent.
And I can go get, like, let's say a receiver was doing that last year. Well, I want 600,000. Okay, well, I can get Keon Coleman probably for 200 from Michigan State. You see what he's doing at Florida State.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, then with the rest of that money, I could probably go get an offensive tackle, like a second team Power 5 all conference offensive tackle. And oh, by the way, I could go get another corner to go with Grimes and DeBerry. And I can go get another corner and up my chances of him being the guy
So
for the price of one. So that kind of stuff, and those are the decisions you have to make. And yeah, Seth, it's so important.
Yeah. So
to have the right people and credible people making that call.
Right.
I don't know.
To sum it up, man, NIL is so important in today's football. And despite what anybody feels about it, it's just the reality of the game. And A&M, of all places in the world, should be top 3, top 4 in their ability to go out and get the players that they need.
Yeah,
I don't see cause let's just be real, man. Like it's about the money. These kids want money. Yeah, they want to be at a great program, but they want the money at this point in time. And it is what it is. And if we don't buy into that,
no, it's not all of them.
I know, but I'm just saying there's a vast majority of them. Whatever. It is what it is. So, but we got to buy in as a university, as a fan base, as alumni, whatever. We all have to buy in that NIL is here to stay. It is what it is. And it's probably just as important, if not more important, than these facilities and all that we're building.
Whatever. I think Billy will agree that we just need a bunch of guys that just want to be Aggies, you know.
So, like an on-air review in a moment of that amazing breakfast sandwich that you're having that looks like eggs. It's got some sausage in there, some other stuff. It looks delicious.
It is so good.
Yeah.
Texas toast, buttered, little fried egg.
You're going to town on that thing, man. Like you haven't even eaten before.
It's my first meal, like a week.
Remember how Dan eats? Like when we'd always mess with Dan because if he had a sandwich like that, he just hunts it over and just guards it. Yeah, it's like he'd spent 20 years in a joint.
Oh, Daryl probably stole his food growing up.
Yeah.
Well, we're here at the Angry Elephant. Thank you to everybody coming out. We're going to do a couple more segments here. We got to get through the Pick Six, the Sleeper of the Week, and the Freak of the Week. So let's start things off.
You've had an active hour.
I haven't said a word.
All right.
That is the best and the worst part of the hour, right? Sometimes I'm okay just chilling. Because
you talk for
the other
14 hours out of the week.
And you guys are good. So
this man's voice break. How was LSU last night?
I wish they would have come away with a win, but it was a cool trip, and I enjoyed it. It was nice.
What are we talking about? What about LSU?
Soccer.
I went to A&M soccer last night.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was. They needed the win. They didn't get the win. They got the tie, but they still got a first round bye.
Hunter fired up the PJ.
Hunter did? What does that mean?
Like they flew private there and back
to the LSU
the
game
big
for a
baller.
soccer game.
Yeah,
let's go.
That's what's up, right?
Yeah. His Hunter's daughter's on the team. That's why.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
You would do the same.
Yeah, probably.
I would too.
Actually, me and Steve would be in a car driving there. We're not of your level.
Road trip, baby.
Nuno, did y'all go eat anywhere?
We did. We went to I don't remember the name, but it was a Cajun place, and I had etouffee like I always do. It was fantastic.
Nice.
Hunter's notorious for picking the most god-awful restaurant.
It was good.
It's like, oh, we got to go here because Instagram told us so, and we'll post pictures of, and it's awful. But it's not him; it's the girls.
Well, other parents were at this restaurant, so we went. The Calzadas were there, believe it or not. So it was cool. It was a good time.
Hector,
yeah, my Cuban family. Yeah,
absolutely.
Why would he be there?
His daughter plays for A&M soccer.
Steve, apparently you need to pay a little more attention.
Sorry, I don't follow soccer, man.
Come on,
good Lord.
Hey, can we do a little
Get back to football?
Of the week.
Would you like the freak of the week? Oh, that was bad.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Bad for you.
It was a week off. I'll wait on you. You cue it up. I come in.
You got to come in fast.
The rhythm.
I don't know who to go with first. Who wants
Seth? Let's make Seth go first.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, freak of the week,
That's
buddy.
fine. Let's see. I didn't know who's going to be up.
Going last.
You know what?
What?
I'm gonna go with the guy that was very emotional with himself, and I'm gonna do it again. I think I've done it before, but Walt Nolan, man, I think that he's going to come out and dominate against this South Carolina offensive line, and we need him to put some pressure on Spencer Rattler and get him off of his rhythm and his cadence and all that stuff. And I love it. Let's see it. I think he's going to ball out.
I'm going with Max Johnson. I think the bye week was good for him. I think they're going to tweak the offense a little bit. I got a feeling we're going to see a much more explosive, balanced. I don't know, but something that's going to keep the defense on their toes more. And I think we're going to see a little bit more explosiveness in the passing game. You can't get, dude, you got receivers decommitting. You got to freaking throw the ball to your studs. You got to show that we can move the ball in there.
Yep.
I think I know yours.
Do you?
I think it's Edge Cooper.
I've mentioned 3 candidates, and I know I've mentioned Cooper. I mentioned Fadil Diggs earlier. I mentioned here's a guy, I wouldn't say he's been quiet lately, but he was just wreaking havoc earlier in the year. Could see a breakout by Shamar Turner.
Okay.
But I'm going to go Fadil Diggs. I just think this South Carolina O-line is ripe for the picking. And Rattler, he gets sacked a lot. And I think Fadil Diggs is a guy that could take full advantage of that.
I like it. Time now for the Sleeper of the Week, presented by the Sleep Station. Go see Jared McLeod and ask about the Tempur-Pedic and Purple mattress in the Specs parking lot at Texas and Harvey, and in front of Lowe's at William D. Fitch and Highway 6. The website is thesleepstation.com. Steve, who is your Sleeper of the Week?
Oh, man. I think I'm going to go with I want to go with Reuben Owens.
Okay.
Oh, nice pick.
I always feel like, true freshmen coming out of the bye week, they always it's almost like kind of a reset for them.
Mm-hmm.
And, because these seasons get long.
Yeah.
When you're a true freshman, I feel like he's going to come out, kind of look like a different player. And I feel like we're going to block much better up front running the football. And I know Le'Veon Moss is going to get his yards, but I feel like Reuben's going to bust one. I feel like we're going to see. We haven't had a long touchdown run all year, have we? That I can think
Amari
of.
came very close, but no.
But we haven't had that, just 60-yard.
No, they haven't had the burst. They haven't had those bursts.
I'm calling for Reuben Owens to hit one of those.
I like it.
Oh, wow.
I like that one.
Well, in honor of Nuno, I'm going to go with Noah Thomas.
Yeah.
I think that
that's his boy.
he's kind of.
I hate that he's gone back into where a great game by him is Sleeper of the Week, but it is what it is. He's been hurt. He's healthy.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to get him back out there and get back to those early games that we had of him, and he can put it together. I mean, he's got the ability, he's got the talent. So I just want to see it and feed off of Steve's Freak of the Week and Max.
There you go. Feed the studs.
Who am I going to go with? Part of me wanted to say, I think Steve had a great pick. Part of me wanted to go with DJ Hicks, the true freshman. A couple of the players have mentioned him to me this week. Like you said, those freshmen during the bye.
Yep.
You saw him out there on some key snaps against Tennessee. Both the first.
I didn't even realize he played. I heard he did, but I
saw him out there in the first half in some pretty important moments.
He is a beast, though.
Well, and they have a lot of them on that D line, but I'm going to go with him. And I'm saying I wanted to go with him. I'm going to go with, I don't know that he's going to have some great game but I think they're going to go after A&M down the field. And I think Spencer Rattler is going to try to, you talked about Max Johnson trying to take shots. I think Rattler's going to try to take shots. I'm going to go with Jacoby Matthews to get his first pick. I think he's going to get an interception. I think Rattler's going to, be rushed a lot, and he's going to throw an ill-advised throw too. And I think the safety is going to take it.
I could certainly see that because I got a feeling we're going to control the line of scrimmages, and he's going to get to a point in the game where if they want to even compete, they're going to have to launch the ball downfield.
Yeah.
Last segment of the show, we are going to, if we spill over, hopefully you still keep it with the zone, but we'll keep it live on YouTube if this goes a little bit long, and on TexAgs.com. Thanks to our friends at CC Creations. Been selling merch here. That TexAgs dry fit and the fish shirt and the hats, the koozies, you name it. They got it all here. So if you are at the Angry Elephant, come by. If not, go to CC Creations, go to the warehouse and pick up some TexAgs merch. Let's get into our pick six. And right now, let's see. Everybody is under 500.
Oh, at the bottom, I think there's some shady scoring going on.
You know what? I have nothing to do with the scoring.
Oh, really?
I have nothing to do with that. I have allowed Ethan Jones to handle that completely. Part of the Jones family. So if they've got a vendetta with you, that's not happening. All right,
I've got a vendetta with that with Brandon. That's for damn sure.
Let's get into the pick six. Our first game is number 1 Georgia. They're 7-0, 4-0 in the SEC versus Florida, 5-2, 3-1 in the SEC in Jacksonville. By the way, 2:30 broadcast CBS. Georgia favored by 14.5.
Florida cover, lose.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Florida cover, lose. Okay.
No Brock Bowers.
Rivalry game.
We're on the road.
Neutral site road
party.
No, I don't believe it. I'm going Georgia.
That's where I went. I went Georgia as well. All right, number 20 Duke, and it looks like Riley Leonard is not going to play at the latest I've seen. At number 18 Louisville, 2:30 start there, and that's Louisville by 3.5.
Oh, I'm going Duke.
You would. I'll take Louisville.
Louisville.
Yeah.
I'll actually go Louisville. The Riley Leonard thing does certainly play in, and I think people are sleeping on Louisville a little bit. They're a pretty good team this year. Not great, pretty good.
I saw Duke's quarterback against Clemson.
Florida State.
Mm-hmm. And I was like, ugh.
Yeah, Riley Leonard's stud.
Is.
All right, number 13 Utah, they're 6-1. At number 8 Oregon, 6-1. 2:30 broadcast,
Big one.
Fox broadcast on that, and it's Oregon by 6.5.
That's at Oregon?
Yep.
I'm going to go on Oregon. I'm going Oregon too.
Utah's so tough. Kyle Whittingham, so tough. That program's so tough.
I agree.
At Oregon is such a tough place to play. Bo Nix is tough. I like Oregon. A competitive game, but to cover. I think they win by more than a touchdown.
Here's an interesting one. Number 21, Tennessee, 5-2 at Kentucky, 5-2. 6 o'clock Kroger Field, ESPN broadcast. Tennessee favored by 3.5.
I'm going Tennessee on this one.
Same. I just don't think. I don't think Kentucky's going to be able to run against Tennessee, and that's all they can do.
Yep.
I've had a tough time with this one because.
But Kentucky's sneaky good sometimes.
And they're a lot better at home.
Yeah.
And Tennessee's a lot worse on the road.
Yep.
That's a big swing there. And a Mark Stoops defense, can they contain that Tennessee running game? At the end of the day, I got ground to make up, fellas. I'm going Kentucky to cover.
I did that as well. All right, here's one that I don't know. It's a big number. We'll see. Number 3, Ohio State 7-0 at Wisconsin 5-2, 6:30 at Camp Randall. NBC broadcast. Ohio State favored by 14.5.
What's Wisconsin's record?
They're 5-2, 3-1 in the Big Ten.
I've given up on that program.
I'm going Ohio State to cover on that one.
Yeah,
Ohio State.
I'm really torn on that one.
Me too, because Ohio State's not scoring a lot. It's at Camp Randall.
I just don't know. I don't know enough about Wisconsin.
I don't either. I'm going to go Wisconsin to cover with Ohio State coming off a very emotional rivalry with Penn State the week before. Ohio State win. I'm picking against the favorites to cover this week, I guess.
You're doing that to play catch up, right?
Well, I know. I did the Kentucky one. No, I did the Kentucky one to play catch up. I'm picking home more than 2 touchdown underdogs.
Home dogs
to cover.
Yeah, I'm taking Wisconsin too.
By the way, I'm just got to say bye to our friends on the Zone. Thanks so much for listening. Keep it with Louie or watch us on YouTube here for the next few minutes as we close it out. The last game, guys, and the number's interesting here. South Carolina at Texas A&M, 11 a.m., Kyle Field, ESPN broadcast. According to this, A&M favored by 14.5.
Oof.
Big number.
Oh, man. As much as
the question is, can we hold their offense to under 14?
I don't believe. Yeah, it could, but I think I'm picking A&M to win that game 34. Say I might go 34-20. That's a South Carolina cover.
Yeah, man,
I'm right on it. Damn, I'm right on it.
You got to think with your head.
38.
Like, look, we're going to win. I'll just say
38-21. Can we get 38?
We're going to win, but we're not going to cover.
Are we going to score that in the first half?
Unless we have our new offense.
No, David.
Sorry.
We're going to win, but we're not going to cover. We're going to win by 14.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking maybe 14's our best.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to be mad about that.
I'm actually with you guys. I'm going 30, 37, 23, 37, 24.
That's a weird number, but okay.
I'm doing a mixed extra point somewhere along the way.
Do we get a special team score
or 3 field goals? 28
okay, fine.
And 3 field goals.
You know what? I don't want to see any of that against us. The defensive or special team score.
Yeah. 4 straight games, a non-offensive score.
Can we end that?
Against A&M,
against
Auburn, Arkansas, Bama, damn.
4 straight games.
And then, okay.
But
got called.
Safety.
So how many for the year? Is that 5? Because include Miami in there.
5 on the year.
That's a lot, man.
And now, unfortunately, if it was just special teams, but it's when your offense is on the field too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, Arkansas, yeah, we already include that.
No good.
Arkansas, boys. Auburn, and Bama. Yeah. Bama with 2. All right, I think it is going to be good. I think A&M wins this thing. I don't think it's like a master class in SEC football, but I do think they win and play well. And
what more
give
can
you
you ask for?
You go into a road game, 11 a.m. and we'll talk about that next week. But my God, like this team is better than what the vibe and the mood is,
Correct.
but also they are 4-3. So I get the vibe and the mood, but I also they're two very, very close losses.
Yeah.
Against respectable good teams. I don't think either is great, but Bama might go to the damn playoff. Who knows?
Right.
They're to Alabama on the road at Tennessee in front of 100K. They're two very narrow losses away from the conversation being totally different. Do I think they're that team? No. Do I think they're the team that everyone's so down on? I think the answer is somewhere in between. I think that's good enough to beat South Carolina at home, and I think that is good enough to where you will really entertain them having a shot to go into Oxford and beat a team that's played a lot of close games against okay teams this year.
Will they split at least on the road this year? These last two?
I don't know.
You're going to have to prove it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit there and say, yeah, because they hadn't done it.
Yep.
It's been too long, but they got to learn how to win. They've been losing so much the last couple of years that they got a young team still needs to learn how to win games.
Yep.
Yeah.
And once they learn it,
Forget about it.
This could be a really good team.
Mm-hmm.